Okay, so this is a screencast about laying things out in a grid. So I just have a little grid here, and we're going to look first at the information that we need to know in order to help us do this. So one thing we're going to need to know is where the x position is. So I'm just putting a little dot here. So we need the x and the y position in order to put things at different coordinates. So we're going to make a couple variables. One is going to be called x position and y position as well. Okay, and those are going to handle that place. Now what we'll also need to know is the distance from that to this, right? So what's the distance from that to that, and then eventually from, it's going to be the same distance to there and the same distance to there. So we're going to call this the column width. And I'm putting underscores in front of all these just so that we have, basically a lot of people use underscores for private variables, and I want to start using that for you just to get you used to it. So that's our column width. That's going to tell us how wide the columns are. Now once we get to the end, we're going to need to move each column down a certain amount, right? Move it down here, so that is going to be the row height. And this is the kind of thing that I might just do on a piece of paper before I get started on programming something like this, just to figure out, what I'm doing. So we got column width, we got row height, we have our x and our y position, and then the only other thing we need to know is, well, when do we reach that point? And so that is from here over to here, so to speak. And so that is going to be the max width. All right. So that's the information that we need to know. Now, also in this case, I want to, for each one, I want them to be a different number here, like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make something called item count. Okay, and that is going to keep track of which item we have. So basically, I have an x and a y position. I'll place this square here. Then the next square, I'm going to add the column width to the x position, and that'll put me here. And place the next one, then add the column width again, add the column width, and each time I'm testing to see if I'm over the max width. And so if the x position goes over the max width, I can go back to 0, and then I can add the row height there, and that'll bring me back down to here. And then I keep adding the column width again, and eventually it'll get to the max width, and so on and so forth. So that's the basic idea, and all the while I'm going to be adding 1 to the item count, so I have a different item count for each one. So with that in mind, let's take a look at how that might work out. So I'm going to take these here just in case we need to see it later, and I'll turn these all into a movie clip and then delete it so we can have it later. Grid diagram. Okay, so let's delete that, and now we'll have our blank screen to go with to start. So one of the other things that I did here is, let's just look at the library, is we have something I called a square clip. All right, so this square clip is right here, and it's just a movie clip that has a text field in it. That text field is named num_txt. Right, so it's just a movie clip with a text field in it. It's 75 pixels by 75 pixels with the width and the height. Okay, so that's just some information to know that we'll be needing in a minute. And also, I should mention as well that if we look at the properties here, I've set the export for action script, so I can create a new one dynamically out of the library. And it's called square clip.